Trust takes years to build, right? But it only takes seconds to break.
Yeah, that is honestly the most terrifying mathematical equation in human life.
It really is. And I want you, the listener, to just sit with that thought for a moment before we go any further into our deep dive today.
Exactly. Just think about it. You can have a decade, like 10 whole years of perfect behavior with someone.
Right, 10 years of shared history. You have inside jokes, you support each other, you show up when they need you.
And then one 3-second decision, just one bad choice.
One small lie or one moment where you break that trust.
And it destroys the entire thing completely. The whole structure is just gone.
The math is just so shocking. And frankly, it feels deeply unfair, doesn't it?
It feels incredibly unfair. It's like carrying this Christless, super fragile glass vase across a tightrope.
Oh, that is a scary picture.
Right. You are balancing on this rope, and you know that just one single gust of wind will shatter the vase into a million pieces.
There is zero middle ground there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Once that vase slips from your hands, the 10 miles you successfully walked before that, they just stop mattering.
Because the person standing on the ground is only watching it fall.
Yeah.
Yep.
They don't care about the safe steps you took yesterday. They just see the broken glass today.
That is exactly the fragile math behind human conviction. And today we are going to explore the real mechanics of this.
Yes, we are looking at a deeply insightful text today. It is called The Foundation of Faith, a guide to building trust.
And our goal today isn't just to talk about trust like it is some magical romantic feeling.
No, not at all. We want to treat it almost like a behavioral science, like a step-by-step process.
Right. We want to unpack the specific daily habits, the mindsets.
The tiny micro interactions that our source material actually calls the glue of relationships.
Because treating trust like magic is exactly why so many people end up losing it.
So true. When we
Yeah.
assume trust is just this, natural thing that automatically exists between two friends,
We get lazy.
we do. We stop doing the active, daily hard work that is actually required to keep it alive.
This text really forces us to look at trust as a continuous construction project, like a building that is never fully finished.
I love that idea.
You know, when I read that timeline in the text years to build, seconds to break, my mind immediately went to building a sandcastle.
Oh, yeah, like on a beach trip.
Exactly. If you have ever been to the beach in Goa or anywhere and really committed to building a proper sandcastle, you know the struggle.
It is serious hard work here.
It is. You spend hours, literally hours, carefully placing every single grain of sand.
Patting it down, making sure it is solid.
Right. You're building the little towers. You are
Yeah.
carefully digging the water channel so the sea flows just right.
It takes so much focus and patience
A massive investment of your time and energy.
because you don't build a structural masterpiece by accident,
Right.
It takes real intention.
But then one single rogue wave rolls in from the sea. Just one big wave.
Or honestly, just a careless kid running past who accidentally kicks your main tower.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, man, that hurts. 1 second of disruption. 1 second.
And it instantly wipes out 3 hours of back-breaking work.
The structure isn't just damaged. It is completely leveled. It is functionally gone. Back to being flat sand.
And the source text is really asking us to think about why human psychology operates exactly like that beach wave.
Why are our brains wired to be so unforgiving?
Well, to understand that imbalance, how unfair it is, we have to look at what trust actually means to the human mind.
Okay, let's break that down.
The text anchors everything on one word: dependability.
Dependability, meaning someone you can depend on no matter what.
Exactly. Because we live in a world filled with chaos, right? Things are always shifting. Life is unpredictable.
Definitely. Look at daily life. Everything is changing all the time.
So a dependable person is literally the rarest resource on Earth.
Wow. The rarest resource. That is a big statement, but makes sense.
When someone proves over many years that they are reliable, our brain registers them as a safe harbor, like a safe zone.
We finally lower our shields.
Yes. We lower our defenses.
Hmm.
We share our secrets, our money, our emotional weight. We invest heavily in them.
We lean our entire body weight against the wall they have built for us, just assuming it will always hold.
Right. So when that wall suddenly vanishes,
When the betrayal actually happens.
yeah, the shock isn't just about the specific lie. It isn't just about the one broken promise.
What is the shock really about then?
The shock is the sudden, violent realization that your whole math of reality was wrong.
Oh, wow.
The safe harbor was just an illusion. And the brain instantly focuses on this new, scary information.
Because the brain sees unpredictability as a physical threat.
Exactly. It does not matter that the wall held strong for 10 years. The fact that it can vanish in 1 second means you can never, ever lean against it with the same confidence again.
That makes the stakes of our daily conversations feel incredibly high.
They are high.
If our nervous systems are always secretly watching the horizon for that one destructive wave, then building this relational glue requires absolute precision.
Which is why we need to define our terms clearly before we start building anything.
Good point. Our source provides a very clear basic definition. It defines trust as believing that someone is honest, reliable, and dependable.
Now, those are 3 words that people use as if they mean the exact same thing.
I do that all the time, honestly.
Most people do. But they actually represent 3 completely different phases of the construction process.
Okay, let's unpack those 3 words, because the difference between them is super important for our listeners to understand.
Let's start with honesty.
I look at honesty as the raw material. In our beach example, honesty is the sand.
Right. It is the basic ingredient.
Honesty is simply making sure your words match reality. You just say what is true.
But here's the thing. Honesty alone is not enough to build trust.
Wait, really? Why not?
Well, imagine you have a coworker at the office, and he is brutally honest about the fact that he never finishes his reports on time.
I know people exactly like this.
Right. He isn't lying to you. He is totally transparent about being lazy.
He will literally tell you, I am definitely going to miss this deadline tomorrow, year.
Precisely. So he is honest, right? But he is absolutely not reliable.
I see. So reliability is the second phase.
Yes. Reliability is consistency over time. It is the actual habit of doing what you promised you would do again and again.
So if honesty is just the loose sand, reliability is packing that sand into a solid, heavy brick.
I like that. You can count on the brick's shape and weight.
But then we have the third word from the text, dependable.
Yes, the highest level.
How does dependability differ from just being reliable? I feel like they are twins.
They are close, but dependability brings in emotional weight. Think about a machine. A machine can be reliable, right?
Like my car. It starts every single morning. It is very reliable.
Exactly. But you don't depend on your car in an emotional human sense.
True. It doesn't care about my feelings.
Dependability means that someone is reliable, specifically when the stakes are high.
When things go wrong.
Right. It means they prioritize your well-being right next to their own. A dependable person stays reliable even when it is highly inconvenient for them.
Oh, that is a huge distinction. Let me think of an example.
Go for it.
Okay. I have a reliable coworker who always logs off exactly at 5:00 p.m. Every single day, his work is done perfectly.
Very reliable.
But if the company is facing a massive crisis at 4:55 p.m., and I desperately need someone to stay until midnight to help me fix an error.
An error that was not even his fault.
Exactly. His reliability doesn't guarantee he will stay to help me. But if he does stay, skipping his dinner to help me.
Then he is dependable.
Wow. Dependability is the ultimate relationship glue, then.
It really is. It is the friction that holds the separate pieces of our lives together when outside forces are trying to tear them apart.
So how do we actually get there? If dependability is the top of the mountain, how do we start climbing?
The source text gives us very specific action-oriented pillars for this.
Yeah.
And it brings us right back to that raw material. Honesty.
But I noticed the text adds a very strict rule here. It doesn't just say, tell the truth.
No, it emphasizes telling the truth even when it is difficult.
Because easy honesty is practically useless for building trust.
Totally worthless.
When I first read that, I thought it sounded a bit negative. But the more I sit with it, the more it makes total sense.
How so?
Well, if telling the truth costs me absolutely nothing, then you haven't actually learned anything about my true character.
Right. You just proved you have a working mouth and eyes.
Exactly. You just learned I can state basic facts. It doesn't prove I am a good person.
Well, let's use a daily business scenario for this. Imagine you run a small shop.
Okay.
And a supplier accidentally ships you double the amount of inventory you paid for. And they don't even realize their mistake.
Oh, free stuff.
Right, that is the temptation. Now, if you pick up the phone and call them and say, hey, you sent me twice as much as I ordered.
That is difficult honesty.
Very difficult, because it literally costs you money. You lose the free inventory. You lose the extra profit you could have made.
But the psychological signal it sends to that supplier is massive.
It is huge. The signal you are sending is, I value our shared reality, and I respect our relationship much more than I value making a quick, unearned profit.
When the supplier's brain receives that specific signal, They instantly categorize you as highly dependable.
Exactly.
Mm.
You have proven your baseline setting is honesty, even when you were deeply tempted to lie.
Now, compare that to a scenario where the supplier shortchanges me. They send me half of what I paid for.
And you angrily call them to complain.
Right. That is easy honesty. I am telling the truth because it benefits me to get my missing items.
And what does the supplier think after that call?
They definitely don't walk away thinking, wow, what an incredibly trustworthy person.
No, they just think, this guy wants what he paid for.
Easy honesty is expected, but difficult honesty is the actual glue.
Beautifully said. The moment you tell the truth when it exposes your own mistake or costs you money or hurts your pride,
You are handing the other person a piece of solid gold,
yes, you are showing them the architectural blueprints of your true character.
which flows so perfectly into the text's next major point. The source pairs this difficult honesty with another super important action.
Keeping promises.
Specifically, it highlights the idea that small promises matter. And it uses that classic old phrase, actions speak louder than words.
We hear that phrase so much, it has almost lost its meaning.
Yeah, it sounds like something your grandfather tells you.
But the source material brings it back to life with a highly relatable, extremely common example.
Ah, the famous 5 minutes text message.
Oh my goodness, yes. The source asks the reader a direct question. Have you ever said, I'll be there in 5 minutes, when you were actually still sitting at home on your couch?
I am laughing because every single person in India has done this. I am just at the traffic signal, yar, while they are literally drinking their morning chai at home.
We are all guilty of it. But the text states the result very bluntly. People completely stop believing your 5 minutes.
Every single person listening has been on both sides of this. We've sent the text and we've waited for the text.
Right.
But I want to push back on the source text here for a second. Let's play devil's advocate.
Okay, let's hear it.
We are talking about the profound psychological safety of human beings here. The deep foundation of relationships.
Yeah.
Is a tiny little white lie about being 5 minutes away really a serious breach of trust?
You think it is an overreaction?
I mean, kind of. It feels like calling a delayed coffee date a structural failure is too dramatic. Isn't this just social politeness?
Politeness.
Yeah, I am telling a small lie so my friend doesn't feel disrespected that I haven't even left my house yet. I am protecting their feelings.
Well, the intention behind the lie is usually harmless, I will give you that. You're trying to soften the blow.
Great. I just want to avoid the minor awkwardness of admitting I am terrible at managing my time.
But let's look at the actual mechanics of what happens when you send that message. You are prioritizing your own immediate comfort over this shared reality.
I am protecting myself from feeling embarrassed.
Yes, you are. But the real danger here isn't the 5 minutes of waiting. It is not about the coffee getting cold.
Then what is it about?
It is about the invisible, slow erosion of the value of your word. The best way to understand this is to look at your words as a form of currency, like money.
Okay, like printing money.
Exactly. Every single time you make a statement or a promise, you are handing the other person a dollar bill or a 100-rupee note.
I like this analogy.
If you say, I will be there in 5 minutes, and you actually walk through the door exactly 5 minutes later.
That currency keeps its full value.
Yes. The other person knows your money is backed by the gold standard of your actual actions.
But if I say 5 minutes and I arrive 30 minutes later...
You have just introduced inflation into the relationship.
Oh, wow. Inflation.
You just printed currency that has no reality backing it up. It is fake money.
Now, obviously, in isolation, one inflated currency note doesn't collapse an entire economy.
True. Being late to coffee once does not ruin a 10-year friendship.
But the text specifically says that small promises matter because our daily human interactions are made up almost entirely of these small promises.
Think about your average day. I'll email you that document before lunch.
I'll take out the trash in 10 minutes.
I'm almost ready. Just putting my shoes on.
I only had 1 cup of tea.
Right. If you consistently fail to match these small statements with reality, you are constantly printing worthless currency.
And eventually, your word becomes hyperinflated. It loses all value.
Exactly. The people around you subconsciously adjust the exchange rate in their heads.
Huh. They adjust the exchange rate.
They do. When you say 5 minutes, their brain automatically translates it to 45 minutes.
When I say I'll do it tomorrow, they translate it to I will have to remind him 3 times next week.
Yes, they start having to do complex mental math just to figure out what your words actually mean in the real world.
That sounds incredibly exhausting for the other person.
It is the exact definition of relational fatigue.
Yeah.
You are forcing your partner or your best friend to become a private detective in their own life.
They can never just take my word at face value. They always have to investigate it.
And here's where I see the true terrifying danger in this.
What is that?
Let's say you have spent 3 years inflating your currency with these minor, victimless white lies. Just small things.
Okay, my currency is pretty weak.
Then a massive crisis hits your life.
Yeah.
Let's say there is a huge financial mistake at your office and money is missing.
A high-stakes situation.
And you look your boss or your partner straight in the eye and say, "I promise you I did not do this."
Oh, I see where this is going.
They will look at the currency you are offering them to buy their belief, and their brain will instantly realize your currency is completely worthless.
Because I lie about what time I leave my house.
You lie about whether you took the trash out. Why on earth would they believe that your words magically align with reality on something this massive?
The baseline for truth has been totally destroyed by 1,000 tiny paper cuts. Minor lies told just for convenience.
Exactly. The structure collapses not because of the big crisis, but because the foundation was already hollowed out from the inside.
Because I failed to keep small promises.
That is why the text is so absolute on this rule. Actions don't just speak louder than words.
Actions are the only thing that gives words their meaning.
Exactly. So we have this dynamic now, telling the truth, especially hard truths, and meticulously keeping these tiny promises.
And doing that over and over creates a pattern of behavior. Which brings us to the next major concept from the text, consistency.
Consistency, the cement between the bricks.
The source states that trust grows through consistent behavior. When words and actions match repeatedly, people feel safe around you.
We have touched on safety a bit, but the text pivots here to a behavior that completely caught me off guard.
Same here. When I was reading the outline, I expected the next point to be another act of doing.
Like, always pay back your debts.
Right, or always defend your friends in public. But instead, the text argues that one of the most powerful trust-building tools is listening carefully.
It seems so counterintuitive at first glance, doesn't it?
It really does. The text says good listeners build strong relationships because listening shows respect, and when people feel heard, they trust more.
It sounds so simple.
But my immediate thought is, listening is completely passive. Telling the truth is a hard action. Keeping a promise takes physical effort.
Right.
But listening is literally just sitting in a chair, letting sound waves hit your eardrums. How does a passive state manufacture this profound psychological safety?
Well, the misconception that listening is passive is exactly why so few people are actually good at it.
Oh, that is a good point.
We culturally think of listening as just waiting for our turn to speak.
I am definitely guilty of that.
We all are. We sit quietly, we nod our heads, but our internal monologue is racing. We are judging what they are saying or figuring out how to bring the topic back to our own life.
Waiting is definitely passive.
But the kind of listening the text is referring to, active, careful listening, is one of the most mentally demanding activities a human being can do.
How is it active? What is actually happening in the brain when we truly listen to someone?
When you actively listen, you are deliberately suppressing your own ego.
Hitting the mute button on myself?
Yes. You are hitting pause on your own agenda, your own defense mechanisms, your burning desire to be the smartest person in the room.
That is hard to do.
Very hard. You are using all your energy to construct a mental picture of the world for the other person's perspective.
You are watching their face, their micro-expressions.
You are tuning into the tone of their voice. You are trying to understand the emotional truth hidden underneath their actual words.
It is almost like an act of translation. I am not just recording audio like a microphone. I am trying to step into their reality for a minute.
Yes. And think about how that connects to what we just discussed about consistency and safety.
Okay, how so?
When you listen to someone at that deep level, you're consistently proving to them that you value their inner world.
You are providing emotional validation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because when people feel unheard, they feel erased.
Right, they don't matter.
They feel like their reality is being dismissed as silly or unimportant, which is deeply threatening to the human nervous system.
But when you actively listen, you are looking right at them and signaling, your perspective is safe with me.
I will not make fun of it. I will not immediately try to fix your problem. And I will not overwrite your feelings with my own opinion.
That reminds me of a conversation I had with a friend recently. He works as a crisis counselor.
Oh, wow. That is a tough job.
Very tough. He told me that in moments of extreme emotional pain, people rarely actually want advice.
Really? I always try to give advice.
Most of us do. But he said advice often feels like an attack because it secretly implies they aren't smart enough to solve their own problem.
Oh, I never thought of it that way.
He said what they desperately need is just to be witnessed.
Witnessed. That is a powerful word.
The simple, radical act of having another human being fully absorb their pain without flinching or looking at their phone is incredibly healing.
It is a superpower, honestly. When someone feels that their internal emotions are safe with you, their trust in you deepens exponentially.
Because you aren't just a person who keeps promises in the physical world.
No, you are a person who protects their vulnerability in the emotional world.
The text hits the nail on the head. Listening shows deep, profound respect. It proves that you view them as an equal.
So if we take all of these pieces together, we have an incredibly strong framework for trust.
Let's review it. We have absolute honesty, even when it costs us money or pride.
We have the strict keeping of small promises to maintain the value of our currency.
We have the consistency that makes us predictable and safe.
And we have the intense ego-suppressing habit of active listening.
If someone does all of this perfectly every single day, they are essentially bulletproof.
Which brings us to the inevitable, crushing reality of human life.
Nobody is perfect.
No one, not a single person on Earth, can maintain that framework 100% of the time.
And the source material does not sugarcoat this at all. It directly acknowledges that we will fail.
It bluntly states, nobody is perfect. We will all eventually drop the ball.
We'll tell a stupid lie to save face.
We will be 30 minutes late and blame the traffic even though it was our fault.
We will get distracted by Instagram and stop listening to our partners.
The sandcastle will take a hit. It is guaranteed.
So the real question isn't whether the relationship will take damage. The question is how you respond to the broken pieces.
Yes. The text outlines the art of repair. It says that when mistakes happen, the remedy is to admit them immediately.
It claims that a simple sorry has the power to rebuild trust, and it repeats that trust is built in small moments.
When I was reading this section about admitting mistakes, a very specific image popped into my head.
Oh, what was it?
Have you ever heard of kintsugi?
The Japanese art form. Yes. It is the perfect visual representation for fixing a relationship.
It really is. For our listeners who might not be familiar, kintsugi is the traditional Japanese art of repairing broken pottery.
Like a broken tea bowl.
Right. If a highly valuable bowl falls and shatters, they do not throw it in the garbage.
And crucially, they do not try to glue it back together with invisible clear glue to hide the cracks.
They don't pretend the bowl was never broken. Instead, they mix a spegel tree sap with powdered gold or silver.
And they use this brilliant, shining gold metal to stick the broken pieces back together.
They intentionally illuminate the failure of the bowl. They highlight the cracks so everyone can see them.
The philosophy behind it is so beautiful. They believe that the breakage and the repair are part of the history of the object.
It shouldn't be disguised or hidden as a shameful secret.
By filling the crack with gold, the repair actually becomes the most beautiful part of the piece.
The bowl is considered stronger and vastly more valuable because it has been broken and repaired.
Applying that art form to human relationships is just flawless. Let's break down the psychology of it.
Why is admitting a mistake like filling a crack with gold?
Well, when I mess up, my first instinct, and I think this is a universal human instinct, is to grab the clear glue.
You want to hide the crack.
Desperately. I want to get defensive, make excuses, or shift the blame onto someone else so they don't realize I broke the bowl.
And why do we do that?
Yeah.
We do it because we subconsciously know that making a mistake introduces unpredictability.
I broke a promise, which means I am suddenly a threat to their safety.
Exactly. Your panic response is to rewrite history so you don't look like a threat.
I wasn't late. You told me the wrong time.
I didn't lie. You just misunderstood what I was trying to say.
We try to trick the other person into ignoring the broken pieces lying all over the floor.
Precisely. But here is the problem. The other person knows the bowl is broken. They can feel it.
They feel the lack of safety.
So when you get defensive and try to use the clear glue, you are layering a brand new lie on top of the original mistake.
You are doubling down on being an unsafe person.
You are signaling to them that protecting your own fragile ego is more important than acknowledging their reality.
When I get defensive, I am basically telling them that their memory of the event is wrong, which is a second, much deeper betrayal.
You are attacking their grip on reality just to save your own pride.
That shatters the relational glue way faster than the original mistake ever could.
But look at what happens when you practice kintsugi in your relationships, when you admit the mistake instantly.
When you say, without any caveats or excuses, I was wrong, I lied, I dropped the ball, I am deeply sorry.
It feels incredibly vulnerable to say that out loud.
It feels like stepping naked into a bright spotlight. It is terrifying.
It feels dangerous to you. But to the listener, your vulnerability is the ultimate signal of high reliability.
Really, by admitting I am a failure, I look reliable.
Yes, because you are essentially saying to them, I value the truth of what happened, and I value the health of this relationship more than I value my own pride.
I am proving my commitment to the shared reality, even when that reality makes me look really bad.
Exactly. Hiding mistakes is fundamentally dishonest. Admitting them prioritizes the structure over your ego.
That makes total sense.
When a partner or a coworker watches you take 100% accountability without excuses, their brain registers a massive safety signal.
They think, wow, he messed up, but he immediately owned it.
That means in the future, if things go wrong, I won't have to fight him to get to the truth. He won't try to manipulate me.
The admission of guilt is the gold lacquer. It creates a track record of honorable repair.
A relationship that has never experienced a fight or a failure is actually quite fragile, if you think about it.
It is just an untested theory.
Right. It hasn't been stress tested by the ugly reality of human failure yet.
But a relationship that has navigated failure, where both people have admitted mistakes and repaired the cracks with gold accountability.
That relationship is incredibly robust. It is battle-tested.
That is deeply encouraging to hear. It takes the impossible pressure off having to be perfect all the time.
It really does.
It shifts the focus entirely onto being accountable. It's not about never dropping the vase. It's about what you do with the broom and the gold dust after it hits the floor.
Beautifully put. So we understand the philosophy now. We understand honesty, currency, consistency, and kintsugi repair.
The final piece of the puzzle our text provides is perhaps the most practical part for daily life.
It gives us the actual blueprint for the language of trust, the vocabulary.
The text lists specific phrases to anchor trust in our everyday conversations. I want to read through these with you.
Let's do it. While they sound incredibly simple on the surface, applying what we just learned reveals how mechanically powerful they are.
Let's unpack them one by one. The first two are declarations.
Okay.
You can trust me, and I'll keep my word.
These are pledges. When you use these phrases, you are intentionally putting your currency on the table.
You are drawing attention to your promise.
You are telling the other person, I am fully aware of the stakes right now, and I am actively asking you to depend on me.
It removes all ambiguity.
But they are highly dangerous phrases to use if you don't actually back them up.
Oh, absolutely. If you look someone in the eye, say, I'll keep my word, and then you break it, the inflation is 10 times worse.
Because you specifically highlighted the promise before breaking it.
Right. The next phrase from the text is, I appreciate your honesty.
Now, this is a behavioral reinforcement loop.
What does that mean?
Remember how we talked about difficult honesty? When someone tells you a hard truth, maybe they admit they broke your phone or they give you critical feedback at work.
Their nervous system is on high alert. They are scared of your reaction.
They took a big risk. By immediately looking at them and saying, I appreciate your honesty, you are rewarding that risk.
You are validating their decision to choose truth over comfort.
Exactly. You are fertilizing the soil so that trust can grow in the future. You are making it safe for them to be honest with you next time.
The fourth phrase is honestly my favorite. Thank you for trusting me.
I feel like we almost never say this in regular conversation.
Very rarely. But the psychology behind it is brilliant.
It acts as an anchor for both people. For the person who gave the trust, it acknowledges their gift.
Because trust requires giving someone the power to hurt you and just hoping they don't.
When you say thank you, you are recognizing the heavy weight of what they just handed you.
And for the person saying it, it serves as a psychological reminder. By speaking the words, thank you for trusting me, I am actively reminding myself not to mess up.
It keeps your own ego in check.
It creates a beautiful upward spiral. You give me trust, I acknowledge it, and thank you.
Which makes me feel safer, giving you even more trust.
Which makes me want to be even more reliable to live up to your good view of me.
Exactly. The final phrase the text gives us is, let's be honest with each other.
The ultimate reset button.
When a conversation is spiraling out of control, when both people are getting defensive and pulling out the clear glue to hide the cracks,
stopping the argument and just saying, let's be honest with each other, instantly disarms the tension.
it is a mutual agreement to put down the weapons and return to the shared reality.
Now, the text pairs this daily vocabulary with two heavy-hitting rules. Two maxims.
Here's them.
Trust takes time. And the absolute linchpin of this entire deep dive, trust is earned, not demanded.
That distinction right there separates healthy relationships from toxic ones.
Why is demanding trust such a fatal error?
Because demanding trust is an act of pure entitlement.
Entitlement.
Yes, it is an attempt to harvest the fruit without ever planting the tree.
Oh, that is a great way to put it.
People demand trust when they want all the benefits of a secure relationship. The loyalty, the obedience, the benefit of the doubt.
But they don't want to put in the daily labor of actually being reliable.
We see this in authority dynamics all the time. Think of a boss at the office.
The boss who says, I'm the senior manager, you just have to trust my strategy.
Even though his last 3 strategies completely failed and he lied about the budget.
Or a traditional parent who says, I am your mother, trust me, completely ignoring the child's need for a logical explanation.
Or the romantic partner who says, if you really loved me, you wouldn't ask questions. You would just trust me.
Oh, that is pure emotional blackmail.
It is. It ignores the fundamental truth we established at the very beginning of this discussion.
That trust is a biological, neurological assessment of safety.
You cannot simply demand that a nervous system feel safe.
It is like dragging someone outside into a freezing snowstorm, yelling at them, I demand that you feel warm.
You can scream until you are blue in the face, but until you gather the wood, strike the match, and build a fire, they are going to freeze.
Trust is not a title. It is not a right granted to you by a marriage certificate or a job promotion.
It is a daily practice. It is the act of chopping the wood and carrying the water every single day.
It is earned through those microactions. The difficult honesty, keeping the tiny promises, the active listening, and the kintsugi repairs when you fail.
The text concludes by stating that strong relationships require this continuous application of honesty, respect, and trust.
And it leaves us with the comforting reminder that perfection is not required, just consistency.
Consistency is enough.
Before we wrap up today, I want to pose the reflection questions that the source text asks its readers.
I love these questions.
I want to ask them directly to you, the listener. If you are commuting or doing chores right now, let these questions echo in your mind as you go about your day.
Take your time with them.
Number 1, what does trust mean to you personally?
Number 2, how do people actually earn your trust? What are the specific actions you look for in a friend or partner?
Number 3, have you ever broken someone's trust? And if so, did you try to hide the crack with clear glue, or did you repair it with gold?
And finally, why is honesty important to you?
Those are powerful diagnostic tools. If you can answer those honestly, you have the blueprint for your own relational architecture.
You know what you need to build.
We have covered an immense amount of ground today in our deep dive into the mechanics of connection.
We really broke it down. We explored the terrifying imbalance of trust, how it takes years of meticulous sandcastle building to create, and 3 seconds of a rogue wave to destroy.
We defined the clear difference between just telling the truth and being emotionally dependable in a crisis.
We examined how our words act as currency, and how breaking small promises like the 5 minutes text inflates that currency until our word is entirely worthless.
We challenged the idea of passive listening, reframing it as an intensely active process of emotional validation and suppressing the ego.
We embrace the inevitability of failure, learning that vulnerability and unreserved apologies are the gold lacquer that makes the broken bowl stronger.
And we learned the daily vocabulary of trust, realizing that it is a fire that must be built daily, never a title to be demanded.
It fundamentally changes how you view every single text message you send, every deadline you set at work, and every apology you make.
It really does. But as we close today, I want to leave you with one final unresolved thought, something to chew on.
Okay, lay it on us.
We have established today that trust is built meticulously in small moments and can be wiped out entirely in a matter of seconds.
Because the brain is always scanning for unpredictability.
Right. The ever-present threat of the rogue wave.
The wave is always out there.
Exactly. So if that is true, if the mathematics are always skewed toward destruction, does that mean trust is never actually finished being built?
Oh, that is a heavy question.
Is there ever a point in a 10, 20, or 50-year marriage where you can just put down the trowel, step back, and say, there, it is complete. I never have to work on earning their trust again?
Yeah.
Or are we in reality constantly resetting the trust clock back to 0 every single morning we wake up?